All right, so the Holosun 503CU in the green right there has to be one of my favorite optics for your chosen rifle or whatever you want to put it on in the more kind of budget-friendly category. All right, so welcome back everybody. Today is like the first day I've actually filmed a video since I had the Rona. Went a good 11 rounds, 11 days with a good 102-degree fever, which absolutely sucked. But we are back, we are doing it, and we were talking about the Holosun 503CU in the green with all the good stuff that Holosun does bring to the market with their optics. All right, the Holosun 503CU in the green. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. If you guys like what's going on here, go ahead and get subbed up, get belled up, turn those notifications down there to all on. And if you like this stuff, give the video a thumbs up. Let's talk about what you get and what's in the box because some people like to know. So obviously you're gonna get your optic. You're gonna get some rubber covers. I almost never use these unless I'm just long-term storage. And then we get our box, which is gonna have our manual, a little FAQ guide there, an extra battery tray cover or battery tray insert right there, the low mount. As you can see, I had the lower 1/3 on there. And then you're gonna get the little tool, which is in my range bag, and you'll get a lens cloth, and that is going to be it. And then of course, your battery. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way and get into the meat and potatoes of this optic itself. So we can see we have that aircraft grade aluminum construction, lower 1/3 mount. We do have our plus minus on off brightness setting, all that stuff right here. You do have your windage, elevation across the top, your solar panel across the top because this is the solar model. And then obviously it's green, so it's got the little green dot right there instead of the red, and then all of your kind of traditional Holosun markings. Let me go ahead and give you guys the overall measurements of this optic so you're gonna know. 2.48 inches in total length, 2.68 in height, with the lower 1/3 mount, and then a 1.42 in the width overall right there. And then the height with this from where it locks into the rail right here to the center line of the glass is going to be a 163, which is very common. Talking about the glass, I've got this turned up pretty bright so you guys can see that green. The glass clarity on the Holosun stuff is really nice. You can see kind of the white and the red in there. It doesn't really change the color a lot. Some optics have a lot of color deviation on there. The Holosun stuff is really solid when it comes to the glass clarity. Talking about the front of the glass, obviously it's all the multi-coated stuff we would expect, and you can see a lot of people have returned these because that glass is crooked in there, okay? It's like that for a reason. That diode in there, that LED that's right there that you can just barely make out the housing on, is at an angle. So that glass has to be at a perfect angle to meet it so it can reflect off of that inside there. So you guys need to understand that. Let's talk about our settings here on this. If you want to change from dot to circle dot, you just hold down the minus and it'll cycle through whether you want the dot or the dot and the 65 MOA ring, and that's pretty much what I prefer. Obviously your up and your down settings are going to be there. These also control whether you want to run manual mode or whether you want to run automatic. Automatic mode is going to auto adjust brightness, completely up to you. I run manual mode. As far as shake awake here, you can program this thing to fall asleep after 10 minutes, an hour, 4 hours, I think all the way up to like 12 hours. Manual goes into detail on that. It's very easy, but you can program this thing any way that you want. As far as battery life, they say up to 50,000 hours with a good battery in there. Obviously, we know that is dependent upon your brightness setting. I wanna say on like setting 6, I think you get like 20,000 hours of battery. You've got a total of 12 settings, 2 night vision, and you have 10 daytime settings, and this thing is plenty bright. Like I'll turn it up a little bit here and you'll see it'll just blow out. Let's see, let me get it right there. So you can see it'll get super bright in there, and then you can turn it down. You've got plenty of adjustment in there. And then of course, if you're using night vision, you've got that opportunity as well. Windage and elevation right there. We're gonna talk about where my caps are, because that was an issue that I did run into. As far as the rest of the settings on here and things that we are going to be looking for, like I said, multi-coated glass, very clear glass, both high-low mounts, 2 battery trays. Battery comes with it. Very, very durable optic. These are known for being super durable at this point. Let's go ahead and talk about the price point on this, the other options that are available, any issues that came up, my favorite things, and of course, where are my covers? All right, now that you have a really good idea of what this optic is all about, let's talk about the one thing I would like to change. And this isn't just with Holosun, this is with almost all the optics out there right now. Being that we have so many better aftermarket options when it comes to mounts and stuff, I would really like to see them offer, not only them, but everybody else, kind of like that brown box style thing. Like, if you guys have ever built your own computers or bought like hard drives or stuff like that, replaced hard drives, you can generally get like the brown box version where it's like there's no instructions, there's no extra things, it's just the bare drive itself. I'd like to see an optic option like that, because then we could just get the actual optic ourselves. I don't need another manual, I don't need another tool from Holosun. And then I could just buy whatever mount I wanted to throw on my setup and be good to go. So that's one thing I would like to see just across all optic manufacturers in general. Now, before we get into the one issue that I did have, specifically talking about those caps, let's talk about the good stuff when it comes to the 503CU, especially in the green. So I've become more and more of a fan of green. If you don't know, there's a lot of science out there, you guys can look it up. There's actually a scientific reason why green is better for the human eye across all of the light spectrum as compared to red. May not be your first choice in color, but once you use one, it's definitely something that kind of grabs your eye a little bit better, and you might start to like it more and more if you want to try one out. Now, as far as the 503C specifically here, the glass on the Holosun stuff is absolutely some of the best out there. It's very, very clear, and being as clear as it is, it still has all of the coatings on there, and it still gives you that really nice battery life, anywhere from like 20 to 50 or even 100,000 hours, especially with the solar battery backup right there. So it'll switch back and forth. You got a ton of options here. You got the shake awake technology. The Holosun stuff is known for being extremely durable, and it still comes in at a really good price point. And talking about that price point, this one specifically, the 503CU in the green is like $289. It's a little bit more expensive than it used to be, just based on everything that's been going on. But you can get the 403, you can get the red version, and they're all the way different price ranges, all the way down to I think like 174 bucks. But you're still gonna get the Holosun's glass, you're gonna get the clarity of that reticle, that dot, or the circle dot, whatever you want, because you got that reticle option. And you're gonna get that good durable optic. You may or may not get the solar pad, depending on which version you want, but they've got an option, like I said, from like 175-ish all the way up to this one, which is $289. All right, let's go ahead and talk about that one issue, and it has to do with the caps for the windage and elevation right there. So while I was out there on the range, it's about 100 rounds into the day, I'm pretty positive I had those things on there nice and tight as I would have had any of the other caps on any of my other optics. But at some point, about 100 rounds into the day, they had backed off, and you caught them on video actually flying off of the optic, which I'll roll in right now. So I don't know if that was me or that O-ring or something, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it was probably user error, and I'm gonna take the hit on that one because I've never had a problem with the Holosun stuff or any other optic with the turret caps coming off. So I'm gonna say that one was me. But having had that happen, I looked to see if you could buy those online, couldn't find them anywhere. So I've reached out to customer service with Holosun, which I've been told is actually really good. And we'll see if I can get a set shipped out to me, or if I can buy a set or whatever, because obviously we don't want to have exposed adjustments right there, because they could get knocked out of adjustment, especially if it's going to be a hard use work setup or something like that. So hopefully Holosun can square me away. So minus that little snafu, if you guys are looking for a solid dot for your rifle, especially one that's green that has that solar, this is definitely one to take into account. Holosun stuff has just got a great reputation at this point in time, and I am really liking the green, especially having a little bit of astigmatism in the eye. It seems to help out a little bit over the red colored Optic. Make sure you guys get subbed up, get belled up, turn those notification icons down there to all on. If you're into any of this content or this Holosun stuff, go ahead and give the video a like. You guys get out there, enjoy some range time. Make sure your caps are screwed on all the way. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I will see you guys on the next one.